Hi, welcome to the lesson on adding and subtracting negative numbers. The purpose of this lesson is to help students understand how to work with signed numbers, particularly adding and subtracting negative numbers. So let's go ahead and begin. So for the first example, we need to find the sum of 5 plus negative 7 using the number line. So what we're going to do is start at positive 5, and we're going to move 7 spaces to the left because this 7 is negative. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So the answer is negative 2. So let's go with the second example using a number line. So for this example, we need to find the sum of negative 5 plus negative 4. Just realize that we're adding two negative numbers, so that means the answer will be negative. So let's start at negative 5. So we start at negative 5 and we're going to move 4 spaces to the left because of the negative sign. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's negative 9. So let's go over some examples without the use of a number line. For example 3, we have to calculate negative 5 plus 9. And so anytime you're working with a positive number and a negative number, just subtract the numbers and apply the same sign as the larger number. So for example, if you take a look, we have negative 5 plus 9. The larger value is 9 and the sign is positive. So when we subtract, we get an answer of positive 4. Because remember, 9 minus 5 is 4. Okay, so let's go over another example. So we have to solve 9 plus negative 10. So if you notice, we still have a positive number and we have a negative number. So let's go ahead and subtract. 10 minus 9 is 1. But it's not only 1, it's negative 1. And the reason why it's negative 1 is because the value on 10 is negative, right? And 10 is larger than 9. So what about the next example? So for example 5, we're told to add negative 4 plus negative 6. So remember, we have two negative numbers, so we're going to have a negative sign on the answer. So anytime you're adding two negatives together, you're going to get a negative number. So this is negative 10. Okay, so let's go over some more examples here. So for example 6, we're told to calculate negative 4 minus 6. So notice we have negative 4 minus 6. We have two negative numbers here. So all we're going to do is take and add the numbers together and apply the negative sign to the answer. So 4 plus 6 is equal to 10, right? However, we're adding two negatives together, therefore the answer will be negative. Okay, so let's take a look at example number 7. So we need to solve 8 minus negative 4. Anytime you have two negatives right beside each other, it becomes a positive, or it is a positive. So bring that sign down, and we have 8 plus 4. So you're going to add as usual. 8 plus 4 is 12. Okay, so let's go ahead and work with example number 8 here. We need to find the sum of negative 2 minus negative 5. So don't worry about the negative 2, just bring it down. But we do have two negatives that are beside each other, so it becomes a positive 5. So just perform your operations as usual. We're going to subtract the two numbers. 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. But notice the sign on the answer will be positive because the larger value is 5. 5 is larger than 2. So let's go over some more examples. So for example 9, we have to solve 7 minus 4 plus 9. So just a little bit different. What I want you to do here is please follow your order of operations. So in particular, pay attention to addition and subtraction of the numbers because we're working with addition and subtraction of negative numbers. So remember, order of operations, you work from left to right in the order that addition or subtraction appears. So in this instance, subtraction appears first, so that's what we're going to begin with. Okay, so you're not going to begin with 4 plus 9, and then you get 13, and then you bring down your 7 minus 13, and that gives you negative 6. Okay, that's incorrect. Okay, so 7 minus 4 is equal to 3. Bring everything else down, plus 9. So your answer here is 12. So let's calculate 6 plus negative 9 plus 1. So just work with this step by step, okay? So we have a positive number and we also have a negative number. Subtract the numbers. 9 minus 6 is equal to 3. But wait a minute, it's not just 3, it's negative 3. Why is it negative 3? Because the value 9 is larger than 6. Okay, so now let's bring the plus 1 down. Let's subtract the numbers. Remember, we have a negative and we have a positive. 3 minus 1 is equal to 2. But is it 2 or is it negative 2? Well, it's negative 2 because the value 3 is larger than 1. And notice the sign on 3 is negative. So therefore, the answer is also negative. So what about example number 11? So we're told to find the sum of negative 5 plus 7 plus 4. So taking and subtracting these numbers together, 7 minus 5 gives us 2. And it's a positive 2 because the sign is positive on the larger value, and the larger value is 7 compared to 5. Bring everything else down. 2 plus 4 is equal to 6. Okay, so let's go over maybe let's go over 3 more examples. So we need to solve 9 plus negative 10 minus 3 plus 6. Okay, this is the same exact concept. It's just more numbers involved. So just work with this step by step, okay? So we have 9 plus negative 10. Start from there. So we have a positive number. We also have a negative number. Subtract as usual. 10 minus 9 is 1. But it's not just 1, it's negative 1 because the value 10 is larger than 9. And notice that the value 10 has a negative number, okay? So negative 1 minus 3, bringing everything else down, plus 6. Okay, so notice the two negatives together. We're really adding two negatives together. Always try to remember that. We have a negative 1 and we also have a negative 3. Okay, so negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4 plus 6. So taking these numbers and subtracting them from one another gives you 2. And it's positive 2 because the larger value of 6 and its sign is positive. Therefore, the answer is also positive. Let's calculate negative 3 plus negative 7 plus negative 4 plus negative 3. Okay, take everything step by step, as I say. So we have a negative 3 and we also have a negative 7. So negative 3 plus a negative 7 is negative 10. So remember, when you have two negative numbers, you are adding them together and you're placing a negative sign out in front of the answer. Bring everything else down. So plus negative 4 plus negative 3. Okay, so step by step. Negative 10 plus negative 4 is negative 14 plus negative 3. So negative 14 plus negative 3 is equal to negative 17. And so I want you to pay attention here. We're also told to calculate negative 3 minus 7 minus 3. Minus 4 minus 3. So negative 3 minus 7 is equal to negative 10. Bring everything else down. Minus 4 minus 3. Negative 10 minus 4 is equal to negative 14 minus 3. And notice we have two negatives again, right? So we're still adding these two numbers together and we're attaching the negative sign out in front. So this is negative 17. So what I wanted you to see is that the forms are different. So we have the same answers, right? But take a look at the problems. The forms are different. This one is a lot more condensed compared to this one. So this one we're working with a lot. We have the plus minus, we have the parentheses. So what I want you to know is that get used to seeing it written this way because you'll come across this in algebra. So hopefully this lesson was helpful to you and I look forward to working with you in the next lesson. Take care.